بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إني أحب الصبيان لخمس. Tonight I want to shift to talk about the importance of children in Islam. Because you have some people sometimes they say, I can't stand children. Some people say, I don't like kids because they're noisy. Because I don't like kids, they get on my nerve. I don't like kids because they are so disturbing, right? Some people they say that. Here you come to see the Prophet say, I love kids. أحب الصبيان. I love kids. And not only I love kids, he tells you the reasons why he loves them. Here quickly to say, brothers and sisters, you know, not just the Prophet is the one who loves children. Allah also loves children. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in so many places, He talks about children and how much He loves them. Now let me show you some of the examples. Number one, in Surah Nuh, one of the surahs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Prophet Nuh is the surah called Surah Nuh. In that surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Noah was telling his people, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. I said, if you do tawbah, istighfar, in return, Allah will send you مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مِدْرَارًا, a lot of blessings, rain. وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ, and He will give you money. وَبَنِينَ, and children. Now here, answer the question is that, why Allah is talking about children here? Because the narration stated that, because of the people of Nuh alayhi salam, because of they are not obeying the teachings of Nuh alayhi salam, what Allah did was to let the women of that time not to become pregnant. For how long? For 40 years. No woman was able to become pregnant. You know why? Because Allah wanted to destroy the people. And He doesn't want to destroy when there were children among them. So for 40 years, there was no birth among the people. So that's why Nuh alayhi salam, when he was telling them, he said, if you want children, you have to go back and ask Allah's forgiveness, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you children. Because Allah loves children and He doesn't want to punish the children. That is number one. Number two, you go to Ayat al-Mubahala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to tell the Prophet to tell the Christians, bring وَقُلْ تَعَالَوْ نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا, bring your children, and we bring our children. The first one Allah mentioned is kids. So even Quran, Allah loves children. So we have to learn to love children, because it's their quality of Allah and the quality of the Prophet. Now that is just an introduction about Allah and the Prophet love children. Now in the hadith that I'm just about to talk about, the Prophet said, I love children because of 5 reasons. 5 reasons are the reasons why I love them. And here one lesson before we go to the hadith. You know, one of the beauty of the Quran and the Islam in general and the Prophet as well is that when they tell you, I like this, they tell you the reason why they like it. If Allah said, I don't like this, it tells you the reason why I don't like it. Give an example from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, one of the people that I don't like, because number one, when you go to the Quran, there is a list of the people Allah say I like. For example, Inna Allah yuhibbul muttaqin. Number 2, inna Allah yuhibbul tawwabin. Inna Allah yuhibbul mutatahhirin. Inna Allah yuhibbul muhsinin. Allah said, all these groups, I love people who are pious. I love people who are pure. I love people who are always asking for forgiveness. They repent continuously. Allah said, I love people who are kind. Now you come to other side, I said, there are a group of people, I don't like them. Who are those? Number 1, Inna Allah la yuhibbul zalimin. Allah said, I don't like oppressors. Inna Allah la yuhibbu kulla mukhtalin fakhur. I don't like people who are always they're always arrogant about themselves. Allah said, I don't like them. Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah said, I don't like people who waste. But here come to the question. Allah, why don't you like people who waste? Innal mubaddirina kanu ikhwana shayateen. The reason why I don't like people who waste, because they are brothers of Satan's. Okay, another question. Ya Allah, why don't you like Satan? He's your creation. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. Because Shaitan was always ungrateful. That's the reason I don't like Shaitan. And because Shaitan also always wasting. And here between the parentheses, brothers and sisters, what is the waste? Inshallah, someday we'll talk about the waste and what's the meaning of waste here. But the point is, Allah tells you the reason why He doesn't like something. And when He likes something, He tells you the reason why He loves them. Now, the same thing the Prophet, when he said, I love this, he tells you the reason why he loves it. If he doesn't like something, he tells you the reason. And the Prophet said, I love children for 5 reasons. Reason number 1, لَعِبُهُمْ بِالتُّرَابِ. Allah. I love them because they like to play with sand. Now, most of us, we don't like to even get with sand, right? It's dirty. The Prophet says, I love them because they like to play with the sand. And that's a good thing. Why, Ya Rasulullah? Because down in the earth is a sign of humility. What does that mean, humility? Number 1, brothers and sisters. You know, one of the best ibadah we do in Islam. If you bring all the ibadah, hajj, zakat, fasting, every ibadah that you bring, you know, the most beloved servant or service or ibadah to Allah is sajda. Everything that you do in Islam, you go to Hajj, you pay your zakat, you pay your... Allah says, I like it. But you know, the favorite part of our ibadah is the sajda. That is why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam, and He wanted them to show the respect to Adam, what did He say? وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا Ya Allah, why sajda? Because that's my favorite. The Prophet says, إِنَّ أَقْرَبَ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ إِلَى اللَّهِ السُّجُودِ. The closest time a servant is to Allah when he or she is in the state of sajda. That's why Imam Muslim also say one of the hadith, لو يعلم العبد ما يغشاه من الرحمة وهو ساجد لما رفع رأسه. If a person knows how much Allah's mercy is covering you when you are in the state of sajda, he said you will never ever raise your head from the sajda. But we don't know. We put our forehead and we are. So sajda is one of the highest ibadah in Islam. And that's why in some of the hadith, they say every Yawm al-Qiyamah, when we are in the Ard al-Mahshar, we go to every prophet that Allah ever created, asking him to come and help us. For accountability, nobody can until we go to the prophet. When the prophet accepts this responsibility, when he comes forward, you know what he does? The first thing he does, before he asks Allah this, he goes to the state of sajda. And then after that, he speaks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That sajda is the most precious ibadah in Islam. Now, this sajda, how do you do it? You put the most precious part of your body on the least thing on the planet, which is the earth. That earth is one of the signs of humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why Yawm al-Qiyamah, people who refuse to do ibadah or to do sajda, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about them, He said, when the angels come to take them, where do they grab to take them? Look in the Quran, Allah tells about how they will be picked to hellfire. He said, فَيُؤْخَذُ بِالنَّوَاسِي وَالْأَقْدَامِ. The angels, when they come, they pick from the forehead. Why? Because they refuse to put the precious part of their body on the least thing, which is the earth, to show their humility to Allah. That is what we call at-Torah. So the Prophet said, I love children because they like to play with the earth. And this is why one of the names of Imam Ali is Abu Turab. Abu Turab is one of the names of Imam Ali. Because what? Imam Ali loved to sit on the earth. One time they asked him, why do you love to sit on the earth? You know what he said? They said, because minha خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Because our creation started from the earth, from the dirt, and the same dirt we will go to back, and from it we will be coming back again. Allahu Akbar. That is just the earth, brothers and sisters. The Prophet said, I love them because they love to play with the earth, with the sand, because it's the sign of humility. That's number one. Number two, he said, I love children because Allahu Akbar, Sidqul Hadith. They love to tell the truth. Kids don't know how to lie. You know, if you see a child is lying, you get it somewhere. Somebody taught them to lie. And here quickly, let me say, one of the two things that cause children to lie, and this is for the parents, because sometimes we teach the kids to lie, but we don't feel it. And I'm going to mention two reasons, and this is mentioned in Ilm Tarbiyah. One reason is, too much pressure on the children teaches them how to lie. How? See, sometimes in the house, a child breaks a glass. That glass costs us money, yes, we know. But he breaks the glass. The father or the mother, they become angry, time out, hitting, punching, all that. Now the child, what does he do? The next time they break something, you think they're going to tell you that they broke it? They know the result. What is it? Punching, time out, punishment. So what did they do? They said, no, I didn't break it. Now, who is teaching him lying now? A father or the mother. Because of that pressure, because of that punishment, you automatically teaching the child how to lie. You know what is even worse, brothers and sisters? Sometimes if there are siblings at home, not only you teach them to lie, you teach them to accuse innocent ones. You know what does he do? He knows that he might get hate or something. He said, no, I didn't do it. Zayd did it. I didn't do it. Fatima did it. Now he did it, but not only he is not telling the truth, he's now accusing the innocent person for something that he didn't do, and neither. But now where's this coming from? From the pressure. That's number one. Number two, they say a father or mother teaches the child how to lie because sometimes a person comes to visit home. Sometimes some people, they get on their nerves. You don't want to spend time with them, right? Now, when you see them knocking the door, what do? You look and say, oh my God, not again. So what happened? Now the poor child, you tell him, go tell him or her, daddy is not home. Now you see this kid, he doesn't know how to lie. He goes, where's daddy? Daddy said to tell you he's not home. MashaAllah. But he doesn't know how to lie. He was born to know to tell the truth. So now the father is teaching him how to lie. Now he comes back and I said, what did you say? I told him you said to tell him now you're not here. Allahu Akbar. Why did you say this? Now the child gets into trouble for telling the truth. Now what happened? The next time you taught him automatically how to lie. And then what happened? The next day he tried to lie to you. Said, where did you learn how to lie? From you, Dad. But you don't know that you taught him how to lie. The Prophet said, I love the children because they don't know how to lie. They learn how to tell the truth. And telling the truth is one of the great attributes in Islam. That's why in the Quran, one of the title Allah gave to Ahl al-Bayt, As-Sadiqeen. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, taqullah wa kunu ma'as-sadiqeen. As-Sadiqeen, those who tell the truth. The Prophet said, I love children because they are always telling the truth. That's number 2. Number 3 says, I love children يخاصمون من غير عداوة. They fight without animosity. Allahu Akbar. Have you seen the children? They fight right now, they hit each other, they get wounded, they get injured. Sometimes the mom and dad of the opposite, all the children, they come, they fight, they curse, they yell at each other. 5 minutes later, the children, they sit next to them playing. Allahu Akbar. We were fighting one another for 2-10 minutes ago, and now they're fine, they're comfortable. It's like nothing happened. They fight one another, but they don't carry hatred for one another. The Prophet says, learn that this is the habit of us. Because sometimes when we fight husband and wife, it's like, I hate this guy. No, Islam doesn't teach us to. When we hate somebody or we dislike someone, it has to be for the sake of Allah. When we are angry, the Islamic teaching is, it should be for the sake of Allah, not because of self. The children, when they become angry, when they fight each other, they will fight, they will do anything, but they still what? They don't carry even 1 cent or if anything about the animosity of another. They still will come back and love each other and continue their life. And you know, by the way, in Islam, we are not allowed, after we fight one another, to carry that hate in our heart and sometimes not talking to each other more than 3 days. In Islam, we're not allowed to do that. The least, the maximum time they give you, you can be upset at your brother or sister, they say 3 days. After 3 days, you are not allowed to go angry. And the Prophet said, وَخَيْرُهُمَا. The best of these two brothers or sisters who fight one another, the best of the two, الَّذِي يَبْدَأُ بِالسَّلَامِ. The best of the two is the one who forgets everything and says to the other brother who they fought 2-3 days ago, and said, Assalamu alaikum. He initiates the greetings. The Prophet said, he or she is the best. And these are the teachings from the Prophet telling us, learn from children that when you fight a husband or a brother or a sister, always don't carry hate. That you can find. You can have an argument, but don't let animosity grow in between the two of you. Learn from the children. That is number 3. Number 4 is يَبْنُونَ وَيُخَرِّبُونَ. They build and they destroy. Allah. Is it a good thing to build and destroy? He said yes. What does that mean? Ya Rasulullah, they build, yes, they put an effort and then they destroy. You think it's a good thing? He said yes. Why is it a good thing? I said, because it indicates they are not attached to it. Allahu Akbar. So you and I, when we build something, we're attached to it all the time. We don't want to lose it. We don't want to eat it. We don't want anything to touch it. The Prophet said, these children, they put an effort, and you can see that during the winter time, they go out in the cold, they build the snow, they do something, and a few minutes later you go, it's gone. You go to the beach, mashallah, at the sun, they build 30 minutes, they build them, working hard, up and down, try to go, and then after that, they throw it with their legs, or they throw something at it, and it's gone. They build after putting a lot of effort, and then they destroy it, because they don't have any attachment to any materialism. The Prophet said, learn from them not to be attached to these materialism. Learn to be like a child, that whatever you have, you build, yes, build it. Put an effort in it, but don't be attached to it. Like some of us, attached to my things. I'm getting ready to give up anything because I think I built it. Yes, it's good. But don't let that thing to become your Lord. That's what they asked Imam Ali alayhi salam. He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, ma huwa az-zuhud? What is zuhud? The Prophet Imam Ali says, az-zuhdu an la yamlikuka shay. Don't let anything to own you. Sometimes, some of us, our jobs is our God. It owns us. Because we can't leave anything for it. Sometimes some people, food is their God. They like selling food, they can't leave it. No matter what, snowing, cold, hot, it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes, they have to do it. Because they're attached to it. The Prophet ﷺ said, learn from children that wherever you build, you put a time and effort in it, but try not to get attached to it. The power you have, don't be attached to it. And you can see that example from the Quran. That one of the Prophet of Allah, he has everything you can think of, but was never ever attached to it. Example, Prophet Ayub alayhi salam. It is history. It's very nice when you read in history. Instead of Ayub alayhi salam, and see how much Allah gave him things. Position, power, money, everything you can think of, but was never attached to him. Allah took everything. The power, Allah took the money, Allah took the wealth, including his own children. Allah took them from him. Including his own health, Allah took it. But he was never worried about it. Even to the point that one day his wife came and she asked him, Ya Nabi Allah. And this was from the enemies of Ayub alayhi salam. They kept pressuring his wife. Why don't you leave him? Why don't you leave him? Look at him. He is a prophet of God. Why does he have to go through this? Some people even took that as one of the reasons that he's not a prophet. Because if he was a prophet, Allah wouldn't test him that way. After a lot of pressure, and his wife came and asked him, Ya Ayub, if you are a true prophet, why wouldn't you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure you and rescue you from this sickness? You know his questions to his wife. He said, Ya Amatallah, oh the servant of Allah. How long were we married where we were enjoying the blessings of Allah? She said, over 40 years. She said, how long has it been that Allah is testing me with all this? She said, 7 years. He said, I feel shy to ask Allah for anything until I reach another 40 years of this difficulty. Then I ask Allah. Even though Allah took everything, but he was not attached to it. Now you and I, something that Allah take from us, Ya Allah, why me? It's like Allah should test the neighbor. Right? Allah, why me? You shouldn't test me. You should test the neighbor because he's the bad guy. I'm a nice, cute guy. I don't deserve that. Right? That is us. Because we attach to everything. A little sickness happened. Allah, why me? Ya Allah. Everything Allah tests is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is punishing us. Because we are attached to those things. The Prophet said, learn from kids that they build but they destroy because they don't have any attachment to it. That is number 4. Number 5, the Prophet said, learn from children. Because of one thing they have, which is very beautiful. Ya Rasulullah, what is the 5th thing that you love about them? The Prophet said, I love the children because they always know one thing in life. And that is, they always love to ask to be given. You know, have you seen a shirt? They said, my children think that I'm an ATM. They think I'm an ATM. Because everything they want, they come to home. Mom and Dad, I want this, I want this, I want this. They say, learn from them. That if you want to ask, who should I ask? No, don't go to bank. No. You go to whom? To Allah subhanahu. Learn to be attached to your Lord as the children are always attached to their parents. That anything they want. Even sometimes they go and they cause trouble. Right? And where do they run to go? To their father, their parents. Because they think their father is the strongest one in the world. So they can go and do anything and run to their father. Because they know their father is always going to be their father. The Prophet said, learn from the kids. and be attached to Allah as the children are always attached to the parents. That anytime you want something, I say turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the children, if they see an ice cream is good, oh, they go run to their father. They want a shirt, they run everything they want. They know one place to go, and that is their parents. Learn to have Allah as a parent, that everything that you need, you go back to Allah. The same thing like we read in Surah Al-Fatiha, which says, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ Nasta'in. Nasta'in means what? You alone we ask for help. That everything that you want, like the Prophet says, it says, Is'alullah kulla shay hatta khasfun na'al. Ask Allah everything, even how to fix your shoes. Allahu Akbar. I should ask Allah how to fix my shoes? That's how much the Prophet wanted to be connected to Allah subhanahu. That everything that you want, everything that you might have a need, small or big, they say always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the 5 lessons from children, which are good attributes, good characters, that the Prophet said adults should learn to have it, so they can be also a good example, not for just their kids, for themselves. May Allah help us to do so. Ya Rabbil Alameen.
Allahumma salli ala
We have 5 minutes for question and answers.
Do you think I should go ahead and tear up my house?
No, I don't. You know, children, they don't tear their house. They make another house and they tear that.
That's right. Alhamdulillah. Any question? I guess yes.
I don't know the exact wording of the saying, but in the Najib, there is one saying by Imam Ali that one of the luxuries of life is to have few children. Can you explain what he means?
One of the hadiths of the Prophet, see, we have a hadith of the Prophet where he's encouraging us to have a lot of children. تزاوجوا وتناسلوا تكثروا فإني أباهي بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. That the Prophet says, get married, have children, because I want to feel proud of my ummah on the day of judgment. It's a good thing. Islam is encouraging to have family. But the hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was also talking about one aspect of life. That one of the luxuries of life is to have few children. And that is, for example, if I have 2 children, let's say my expenses is $100. If I have 5 children, how much my expenses going to be? It's going to be higher than that. If you have, the more you have, the more your expenses goes higher. But if you have less, then you are mostly to be able to live better life if you choose that. Not only that, also even Yawm al-Qiyamah, the less you have, the less answering you have to do. It's like when you get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum. Protect them, because Yawm al-Qiyamah, you have to be answerable to Allah. Simple example in our life. When you want to go to travel, you went out of the country, they usually give you a certain amount of luggage that you can carry. Right? Now let's say you take 10 bags there. 10 luggages, mashallah, everyone is like maybe 150 pounds. You know you're going to take longer there. Because you have to take some from the bag and take some, put in the another, and then wait one more time and then go back and forth because you have too many bags. But if you go there and you have every one luggage, you say, you know, you're not going to spend that much time. So the Imam Ali alayhi salam, what he's referring is that if you want the luxury of this world, the easy life, is to have a small family that you can take care of. But that also doesn't mean that if I have a lot of family, I'm not going to get, if I can take care of them, I have more thawab than the person who has less. Yes. Yes, please.
When Ayub alayhi salam complains to Allah about being referred by Shaitan, So what's the story behind that? Why shaitan?
Yes, the brother is asking that Ayub said in the Quran, Ya Rabbi, inna masani ash-shaytan binusbin wa adab. That shaitan caused me a harm and difficulty. The narration stated that the reason why he was saying that, because yeah, shaitan is the one who caused him to be in that difficult time, that difficult situation. What happened was when Ayub alayhi salam had that wealth and money and position and all that, but he always have time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Out of that busy schedule that he has, power, people, money, it's not like some people, mashallah, when we have a lot of money, that's the time we don't have time for Allah. No, Ayub always had time for Allah. So what Shaitan did is that he came and said to Allah, Ya Allah, I want to tell you that this Ayub only serves you because of whatever you give him. So Allah said, no, I know Ayub is my servant. He serves me because he knows I deserve. That's it, not because of money. Shaitan kept arguing with Allah back and forth, back. So Allah said, okay, I want to show you that Ayub alayhi salam, he was not serving me because of any of that. And that is why Allah started taking all that to show to Shaitan. So that is why when he said, Masaniya Shaitan, that all these difficulties I'm going through is because of Shaitan. Because he was the one who asked Allah and Allah put me in that test. So that's why he was mentioning Shaitan in that situation. Yes. Yes.
You mentioned ilm tarbiyah. Can you speak a little more about that?
Ilm Tarbiyah is about our scholars. They told us there are a lot of books written about how to raise a good children, how to raise a good family, and how do we start it, where do you start it? Because these are something that sometimes, unfortunately, and I'm going to use this opportunity to say this, one of the biggest problems we have as Muslims is we don't think about educating people about marriages. What are they right before they get married? What are the things that they need to know? Husband and wife, what are the rights of the husband upon the wife? What are the rights of a wife upon the husband? We bring two people, they want to get married, we get married, go ahead. You deal with it. And then later what happened? A woman thinks that this is my right, the husband, they don't know it's mine, I can do this, I can't do this, you can. Then it becomes a big problem. Simply because we did not educate both of them about what they get into. And you know, brothers and sisters, in this country, you go to McDonald's, before they give you the uniform, you have to go to the training. How to flip a burger, a fish sandwich, how to put it between the two breads. But you have to go to training. So you can, before they give you your uniform. And here we say, okay, you want to get married? Yes. Okay, Sadaqallah, you go ahead. And do we know both of them? They have no experience. They never lived together. Now the boy ever married before? No, nothing. And we put these two people into the house that now they have to learn from each other. While when you come, there is a book of Imam Ali, the Prophet, the book is called Shajaratu Tuba. This book, Shajaratu Tuba, is a book that the Prophet was teaching Imam Ali prior to the marriage, during the marriage, and after marriage, what to do and what to expect. All this Imam Ali. But the Prophet was telling him, for example, we today, what do we look for to have a beautiful children or family? What do? We say, okay, mashallah, some people they start, when the wife is pregnant, they have to eat date, they have to drink milk, they have to sleep on here, or start listening to the Quran. This is good. It's all mentioned the hadith. But when they ask Imam Ali alayhi salam, how and what do I need to do to have a good children? You know what he said? He said, you start from choosing a spouse. That is where you start. You don't even think about, no, forget about the child. It's that you start from where? From where you choose the spouse. يجب أن تختار لولدك أما نجيبا. Because a good mother plays a big role in having a good child. That's what we do. So that is called ilm tarbiyah. Now, how do I choose a woman? How do I find that this woman is a good woman? What are the qualities? What are the best perfect attributes that I have to see before I choose a woman? That's number one. Number two, The day that I get married, there are mustahabbat. Before a woman walks into the house, what to do? Islam mentioned all that. Now, after you have married, what are the things you should do? All these details we have in Islam. And then when a woman becomes pregnant, when the child is born, all these are called ilm al-tarbiyah. In Islam, we have many books that our scholars have written. Some of these are from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, which helps to have a better family and the good children for future. Because this is important, brothers and sisters. You know what the Prophet said? Because a good child is not as good for you as you live, also even after your death. Because remember the Prophet hadith? He said, إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنُ آدَمْ إِنْقَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ. When a person passes away, he only have 3 things to benefit from. One of them is وَلَدٌ صَالِحٌ, a good child that you leave behind. And you cannot get a good child unless you put a lot of work into it. You can't get a good tree and good fruit unless you plant a good seed to begin with. So that is what it is. That's called ilm al-tarbiyah.
Also regarding the concept of ilm al-tarbiyah, if you want to get it from Imam Zain al-Abdin alayhi salam, like you have the Salatul Wudu from Imam Ali alayhi salam, you have Qurarul, if you go to the alphabetically regarding the Qurarul Hikam. Then recently, of course, we have Mafatih al-Hayat from Ayatollah Masfari. It's very beautiful. Jawadi Armini.
What's number?
That's good.
Salam alaikum.
Alaykum as-salam.
You mentioned that the ayah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. Protect yourself and your and أهليكم. Was Allah talking about Ahl, your family, your blood family, or was talking about the whole community, or the whole community? So what's the difference between Ahl? Allah mentioned Ahl in the Quran and mentioned Ahl. What's the difference between Ahl and Ahl? And we all know that Noah, Allah told Noah that his son, he's not based in Ahl. So what's the difference between Ahl and Ahl? And
The question is, what's the difference between Ahl and Al in the Quran? Here in the Arabic, when you look in the books of Arabic, when they say the word the Ahl, are the people who are related to you by blood. They call Ahl, meaning like a child. It's called Ahl. Sometimes they add the wife to be Ahl also. Sometimes. But they're actually in Arabic, when they say Ahl, they mean people relate to you by blood. For example, when you go to the Hadith al-Kisab, when the Prophet ﷺ was talking, when he gathered Imam Hassan and Hussein and Fatima and Ali, he said, Allahumma ha'ula'i ahla bayti. Now before this, his wife came, Salama, and he said, no, anti ala khayr. You're a good woman, but you're not my ahl. So in Arabic, when they say ahl, they mean people who are related to you by blood. But when they say al without the ha, they say they are your families and they can be extended family as well. So the word al is more broader than the ahl. Ahl means it's a lot closer, which is the people related to you by blood. But the ayah what Allah SWT says, Qul anfusakum wa ahlikum, in tafsir they said it's talking about your blood families. Yes, there might be some other families, but the responsibility starts from those who are your first closest people. Wife, children, and the others.
But with the Al Muhammad, is that Ahl Muhammad? What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. No, Ali Muhammad also, yes, they said us also, when we say Ali Muhammad, there are other families of the Prophet also who are not Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, but they all consider Al as well. But in the Salat, when we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Al, here for the Prophet we mean his closest family, his blood related family. But the word also can be used for even not related. But for the Prophet we mean those who are skin family of the Prophet.
our brother Prophet Noah, when he told him he's not your Ahl, and when he told Allah to leave him, he told him Isri bi ahlik. So he was talking.
Yes, no, here I've sent this question for Noah alayhi salam. Allah was referring that the ahl is not just by blood, it's also by action. Nuh alayhi salam, by blood, yes, it was his son. But because he was not following the step of his father, the Prophet Quran calls him that he's not a child. Because a child is one who follows the step of his father, who follows the teachings of his father. That's what ahl is. That's why the child is continuation of his father. So since he's not following your teachings, Allah said he's not your child in that aspect. But not that because he's not a biological child. It's biological. But because he was not following the teachings of his father, Allah considers him is not a child. Because a child is the true one who follows the teaching of the father. Yes.
Assalamu
Alaikum assalam.
Can you talk a little bit more about the 2 points you presented in regards to Prophet Ayyub alayhi salatu wasalam not asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the other perspective of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam talking about the 5th characteristic that he loves of children, which is that they always ask?
Yes. Here, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a good thing in Islam. But we have 2 kinds of asking. There is one asking as for self, and there is an asking for others, or for all. One of the things that even in Islam we are not encouraged is to always ask for self. And that is what the Ayyub alayhi salam is about. That's when you go to adab dua, they say when you make dua, don't say Allahumma rzuqni. No. Say Allahumma rzuq. No. This when you go to the Quran, every ayah you see Allah talks about dua, it's always about plural. Rabbana atina fi dunya. Atina. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina. Always the ayah comes in the form of plural. This asking is very encouraging. Versus the asking that I go, Allah give me. This is not encouraging Islam. So Ayyub alayhi salam, he was not in that he was asking. He was not asking because it happened to be in the category of the first group, which is always about making yourself to be the central of that request. Because in Islam, self is not encouraged. That's why even in Salah, Surah Al-Fatiha we say, Iyaka na'budu. We. It's not, I'm praying alone. But I should say, Iyaka a'bud. I'm worshiping you alone. But Allah said, Iyaka na'bud. Because this I is the first biggest problem of every creature. The moment I start me is the beginning of the disaster. And that is what causes shaitan to get out of the heaven. خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. That is the problem. So Ayyub alayhi salam, he was not asking because it's about self. He was the one sick and they want to ask for himself, and he wasn't doing that. But Allah, when the Prophet was encouraging, is to ask for general, for everyone.
Yes. 5th. It was the second question.
Sorry, when I go back to the thing, it came to my mind. Since Noah, his child wasn't following him, and that's why Allah told him that's not your ahl.
Yes.
And also Allah says, وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ أَجْمَعِينَ. We saved, we're talking about his people. We saved him and all of his ahl. So how you balance that?
The ahl that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about those who believe in.
So the believers.
Because Nuh alayhi salam, he didn't have one child. He has more than one child. Nuh used to have 2 wives. When you look in the Quran, Nuh has 2 wives. And that one of them was a believer, the other one was not. And when you go to one of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِمْرَأَةَ نُوحٍ وَامْرَأَةَ لُوطٍ. The 2 of them, they were not believers. And it's amazing, their names look alike also in the tafsir. Versus the other wife who was a believer, and she has children from Nuh alayhi salam, who happen to be also believers. So when Allah said, وَنَجَّيْنَا وَأَهْلَهُ, it's referring to those who were believers.
It's أجمعين.
Yes. No, Ajma'in doesn't mean everybody. Ajma'in means to talk about the most of them. Yes. Now.
Yusuf alayhi salam's dream, when he sees this dream that they make sajda to him. Why Allah brings the word sajda here? It's the same thing that the sajda was ordered to the malaik, to a human. I mean, why sujda? Why the word sujda? I mean, for Yusuf alayhi salam.
The brother's asking why the word sajda for Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam and his family when they came to Egypt to visit Yusuf alayhi salam. The ayah used the word sajda there. Why sajda for them? Even sajda is supposed to be for Allah? The answer is yes. But in Arabic, the word sajda, it means, it has different meaning. You know, in Arabic, we have certain words they call mushtarak. Mushtarak means one word, but it has more than one meaning. It can be used for different meaning. For example, in verses also there is opposite too. That you see one word, one thing, but it has many names. I'll give you an example of that. Like human being in the Quran, sometimes they call al-insan. Sometimes they call bani Adam. Sometimes they call al-bashar. إنما أنا بشر مثلكم in the Quran. Bashar means human. So even though al-bashar, ibn Adam, al-insan, they are three different words, but they mean one thing. Versus also a word in Arabic. It's one word, but it's used for different things. It depends on how you use it and where you use it, and it means what you want. Example is the word al-ain. Al-ain in Arabic, it has so many meanings. One of the meaning of ain is what? Is the eye. One of the meaning of the word al-ain, it means spring, ain al-nabigha, spring. That's one. Number three, al-ain, it means a spy. Somebody who is like a spy, they call it al-ain. This has another eyes watching people. That's al-ain. So that is another. So that it has different, all these, it depends on how and where you use it.